Let's go back to the phone lines. Talk to John in New Mexico next. Hi, John.
Hello.
Hi.
I was listening to you talk about the book on Darwin, The House of Cards.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and wondered if Darwin ever addressed the fact that first organism that emerged from the green slime had to have in it already the ability to reproduce.
Well, actually, a couple of things I want to say about that. The first thing is that I have a quote of the day that's going to address that head on, which comes in the third segment of the broadcast today. So keep listening, and I think that'll be very, very helpful to you.
Okay. And who was the author of that book?
It's Tom Bethel. Darwin's House of Cards, Tom Bethel.
Tom Bethel.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Hank. Appreciate your program.
You got it. And Bethel writes that natural selection is not available as a mechanism until the first replicating cell has appeared. Common descent, therefore, is a deduction from Darwin's theory, but it has never been demonstrated. Homology is a fact of nature, but it is also common in human design. Organisms are observed to vary about a mean, but never to depart indefinitely from the original type. Now, I actually have written about that in various places because let me give you an example from Darwin's Origin of Species. Darwin speculated that bears might well evolve into whales. Both of them are pretty big. And so he said, I see no difficulty whatsoever in a race of bears being rendered by natural selection more and more aquatic in their structure and habits, with larger and larger mouths, till a creature was produced as monstrous as a whale. Well, now, fast forward to today, and you have neo-Darwinian evolutionists. They hold that hippo-like animals evolved from whales, so the story has sort of evolved. But to believe that hippo-like animals evolved into whales takes an enormous leap of faith. First of all, because fossil transitions are scant. And therefore, the belief in the evolution and the development of physiological wonders like blowholes or sonar or diving mechanisms takes a lot of Darwinian devotion. The very notion that unguided, purposeless processes could transform the ears of a land-dwelling, freshwater, hippo-like animal into the echolocation system of a sea-dwelling saltwater whale, and that in a mere matter of 10 million years, I freely confess, takes more faith than I can muster. And I think this is the issue, Christine. I mean, if you read Darwin's House of Cards, what Tom Bethel is saying in that book, and he's saying it vicariously through other authors like Colin Patterson, the people that really have the wherewithal by which they can know have looked at the evidence and said, well, I'm not going to give up my evolutionism, but I'm only going to accept it as faith. So it isn't based on evidence. It's based on some kind of an odd predilection to want to believe something, whether or not the evidence is there.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that I think people, they're just trying to force a narrative, and it's really troublesome. And it's like something that we have been talking about regarding how to I feel like they're forcing that narrative because they think that like some people think that Christianity doesn't have an answer because it doesn't go with science.
And I think they're forcing the narrative for another reason as well. I mean, if there is no God, there's no accountability.
Yeah. There is no accountability if there's no God. So you have to force some kind of narrative in order to have... Yeah, that makes sense.